Time to talk about strings. So, they do provide you with a string for the bow. I don't know where this string came from. It doesn't really feel much like a bowstring. I was able to put a knot on each end and set the brace height, and you saw that in the photos. For bows, there are two types of bowstrings. First one is one of these. This is a Flemish string. It's made from two bundles that have been twisted together to make a sort of rope. You twist the two loops on the end, and then you twist the whole body. It can be adjusted in length by twisting it in one direction or the other to tighten or loosen it and change the brace height of your bow. To build that, you use a Flemish jig. There are nails on this end, a set of nails over there, and you weave back and forth. There's a peg that goes into one of these holes to set the distance of how long you need to make the string. Not bad, works really well. Done a lot of long bow strings this way. This is not the string you classically see on a horsebow. This is what you see on a horsebow. This is an endless loop string. So this end has been wrapped with an additional thread. It's been wrapped all the way down to here. Then we have it in the center where it's also been wrapped. And finally to the other end. You use a completely different jig to make this string. I'll show you in a second. This is one of two pieces for an endless string jig. This cap is a little locking cap, keeping this from turning in whatever direction I set it. You see that this rotates. You can buy these. I happen to make mine because I have a shop and I can. There's one here. There's one all the way down there. In between there's just a clamp. I'll show you why in a few minutes. This allows you to make an endless string of any length that you want. And it's all built just to make endless strings. So again, in the pictures in the blog, you saw that the brace height has been set. Now I'm going to make a string to that length. This is waxed bowstring. Color is Cordoba. I got it at Three Rivers Archery, who really support the traditional archer. This is what I'm going to make my endless string out of. And so the first thing I have to do is build a loop. That loop is going to go over the clamp in the center, and that's where this endless loop is going to start. This endless bowstring is a 12-strand bowstring. So I'm going to have to wrap around those posts 12 times. Well, actually 6 times. This clamp is going to hold the string as we wrap it around the post to make the endless string. You want to make sure that this is not at the center, but some point past it, on either side, doesn't matter. These posts are 56.5 inches long. So 28.25 is about the center, which is about there. That's well past it, and I'll be able to start. Put a little knot in it so I can attach it to the clamp. You'll see why I'm beyond center in a minute. Now, I'm going to make 6 wraps. screw the tape. All bundled. And that is going to be the thickness of our string. So it should hold an arrow pretty well. Just mark the point, about 28 1/4, center. This is our next tool. This is a serving tool. We're going to do what's on this bowstring, on this endless bowstring. This is called serving, and this serving is about 8 inches long. What this serving does is it means that the arrow nock doesn't wear out the bowstring because it's reinforced. It also means that if this string hits the bracer that you wear on your arm, it also doesn't wear out the bowstring. It's an extra set of protection. After I mark the center, about 4 inches on each side, and that is our serving. Time to serve a string. This is one of many different kinds of string serving devices. This one is a BCY Model 26 serving tool. The serving thread, which is waxed, comes up through the hole, and then you follow the little arrows. Goes through there, comes around, goes to there, up to there, back through the hole, and up through here. This is called a center serving stringer, or serving tool. So, what you do is you take the end of this and you put it back against the body of the string, and then wrap it several times to hold that string in place. And you're basically wrapping it back upon itself. And you're doing it tight enough that it holds itself in place. And once you get close, you can now start to spin it. However, you may need to lighten the tool just a little bit. If you feel the bowstring turn in your hand, you need to lighten it so that it peels off nice and easily. It's just a hair loose. Alright, through the magic of the camera, we have gotten this far. Now comes the magic. First, get yourself a little string. Remember that whipping we did with the sinew? We're about to do the same thing on this string while it is on the string. So there won't be a loop that we create. It's sort of a back whipping. Here I have the end of the serving. I go under and I wrap around this string inside the loop about 12 times. and I pull it back against the string. Now what happens is, as I wind this serving in the direction it was going before, it puts a loop on this side and holds the string down and takes a loop off this side. And now if I pull the end, it ties itself off, just like that. This section is now served. I like to hit the ends of this with a little super glue, just to keep these knots tight, because this is where they'll fail. And the nice thing is, I can now cut this string, and I cut this string, because they're not going anywhere. They've been tied up inside the loop. And now, we do the ends. Now you'll find out what makes this endless string jig different. In the center, I have served the center of the string. Now I have to serve a loop. If I take the locking cap off and give it a twist, it opens it up. I can hold it in place. Now I'm going to serve a section of this. That's step 2. You want to leave some space in on both ends. You just need a big enough loop for the end of your bow. I've served the distance that I need here. Now, take the lock off, close it back down again. Sorry, goes the other way. Put the lock back on, and now take a look. I have a loop right here, a loop that has been served all the way around. Now I will serve the 2 strings together, and then we'll finish this loop. So that gives us that loop, and now I'm going to finish this one the same way by whipping over the end. And you can see after serving, this is what it looks like complete. Now down to the other end, and I do it again.